Hey everyone, so in this video I'll be going over the Season 11 changes, the patch that came out a few days ago. It's something, everybody does at the beginning of every season, is kind of keep up with what's changing and give their thoughts on. And, with the way Season 10 was, Season 10 in my opinion wasn't a good season. I'll have a video on that coming out later. I was trying to do it today, but kind of ran out of time. We'll still have some time, but it'll probably come out tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully with the changes they have in this patch, which from what I've seen, on the most part, it's good. Hopefully Season 11 is going to be a better one. So with that, let's begin. So the first general change is that the knockdown time when two charging abilities collide reduced from 2 seconds to 1.7 seconds. This is fine. Never really something that really bothered me too much, but less CC is a good thing. I wish they would have like a better kind of hierarchy for CC, right? I think that if Reinhardt collides with a Doomfist, then the Doomfist should lose that exchange. But if an Empowered Fist Doomfist punches a regular Doomfist, I think the Empowered Fist Doomfist should also win that exchange. Same with Empowered Fist Doomfist and Brig. So yeah, I think this is fine. I don't know why things are so hard for them to do. but yeah, so this is fine. No big issues there. Less CC is good for everybody. So if we start into the characters, first one is D.Va, and for her fusion cannons, weapon spread reduced from 3.75 to 3.375, and the boosters impact damage is increased from 15 to 25. Now I think this is actually really good for D.Va. D.Va has, I think with the last patch, I think she, D.Va's not, let's say, I think in general for tanks, a lot of people feel like they aren't as impactful as they can be, so kind of giving her more damage or potentially more damage or easier damage to do by reducing the spread, I think that would be good for her. The other one is for the impact damage, doing 15 damage. I remember when they first announced that, I don't know, it was like over a year ago, right? I think I was like 15, like why even have that? Like there's certain abilities, like they do so little damage, I don't even know why even give them any damage at all. But yeah, 15 to 25 is much better. I think at least you should be doing 25 damage because it's like kind of 10% of all the squishy character's health. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. So yeah, overall I do think she will be she can't be less effective, right? So, and I don't think D.Va is like in a bad spot right now. I don't think she's like an amazing spot right now. I think she's kind of just fine. I don't see her as much as I see other tanks. It's kind of just there, but she is definitely one of the characters where, a lot of people like to play Winston into her now because of all the changes that tanks have gotten. So yeah, but I think we should move on. So for Junker Queen, for her Jagged Blade, it now pulls tanks further. This makes sense. What the dev notes say is that because of the tank passive, it wasn't as effective as it should have been. So that's just kind of, it looks more like something they're just fixing. That was kind of like a mistake. As for the Rampage, startup time reduced from 0.75 to 0.5 seconds. I think that's needed. I play against a lot of Junker Queens, not necessarily because Junker Queen's like great or anything. She's like super fun, but I don't think she's like super powerful. I think she's actually, it's a tank I like to play against. Let's just say that. But as a Doomfist player, I am almost always punching her out of her ultimate. Like if I feel like she has it, I really stay like in front of her face, keep a punch ready, and then I hear that ding ding ding, and then I just punch her. And I can't explain how many times I've been able to stop her ultimate. I think not even Doomfist is the only character that can do this. McCree gets to do this. What do you call? Who else? Oh man, drawing a blank. I think essentially anybody who has like a stun ability, right? You got like, I think Roadhog could hook her out of it. I think Orisa can Javelin. Not something I've seen, but just knowing that that's something that can be done. Generally, it's a McCree kind of just turning her off, or Kiriko just Suzuing after the fact. So there's way too many things that could counter Junker Queen's ability, ultimate. So I think this is a good one. Oh, Orisa. Orisa right now isn't powerful, but she's still kind of playable. But, you know, it's just... She's better to play against over, like, playing against Mauga or Roadhog. But it's more of... She just doesn't really let you play the game. It's kind of annoying. So any buff that she gets, generally, I'm just kind of like, oh, gosh. So, the buff she's getting is a cooldown reduced from 9 to 8 seconds for her Javelin Spin. So she's not that powerful now, but the way Orisa has worked traditionally is that they keep micro buffing her like here, and there. And then one day, they change something not related to her, but then it affects everything that they've given her over the last, like, few months. And she just becomes a monster. So... we'll keep an eye out for this. This doesn't seem too bad, but I can definitely 100% see her coming back later on. After that, we have Roadhog. So I think they actually fixed Roadhog perfectly because they decided to take him out of the game. No, that was a bad joke, and I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so base health reduced from 650 to 600, and a damage reduction from the Take a Breather is reduced from 50 to 40. Both really good. Anything to make him weaker it's always welcomed. Always welcomed. I think he'll be much easier to kill now. Much easier to kill. I think he's always, like, in games I've played, he's always, like, about to die, but not really dying. So I think this double nerf to his HP, I think, is very welcomed. I think it'll be much better to play against him like this. Now for McCree. I mean, Cassidy, whatever you guys want to call him. First is Secondary Fire, Fan the Hammer, damage reduced from 50 to 45. I think that's fine. It's a pretty easy ability to land, so I can see why they want to reduce the damage. Cassidy is actually very powerful right now, as is almost every single hit scan character, because of everything that's kind of been given across the board changes with the passives and, like, the what do you call that? The bullet size increases and all that type of stuff, especially Cassidy, because he hits hard when he hits you. So I can see why they want to reduce that damage. Combat roll reduction reduced from 75 to 50. I love that, especially as a Tracer player, because I keep sticking him and he just keeps rolling out of everything, and he's much more durable than he's ever been, in my opinion. And I think his combat roll is I don't know, I've been playing against, like, really good McCrees lately, probably because of how good he is in the meta. And the combat roll, whoa, it's a strong ability, and people are learning how to use this ability, like, quickly, so I could see why they're reducing it. Flashbang is back. Magnetic Grenade is gone, thank goodness. I had to release my how to fix the Magnetic Grenade video kind of early, and kind of, you know, because I wrote the script and I made the video before these changes came out, so, you know, it was kind of a last-minute thing. But I am so glad they got rid of it, finally. And this is the frustrating thing about Blizzard, right? It took them, what, over a year? What are you, almost 2 years? Like, to get this fixed? Whatever. Anyways, Magnetic Grenade ability is now Flashbang. It hinders enemies instead of stunning them for 1.2 seconds. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's bad, right? I feel like I would just prefer the old Flashbang, like, back again, to be honest. Anyways, movement speed reduction increased from 30 to 50, and hinder now prevents crouching movement. So, I don't know why. Why would it do that? Maybe there's some tech I'm not thinking about, but... Why, so you can't sneak? So people can't hear your footsteps if he's hitting you with a flashbang. You're so close. Why are you even trying to sneak around? No. But 45 explosive damage. I think that's fine. Like I said in the last video about how to fix his magnetic grenade. One of the reasons they gave that to him is to kind of supplement his shooting damage, because a lot of people can't aim. However, now with the changes they've done to being able to hit people, I don't know if it's still necessary, because it's pretty easy to hit people now, at least. Anyways, a 12-second cooldown. Again, this is another problem I have with Blizzard, is that they make very powerful abilities that you can only use like once in an engagement. And it's just, you want things you want more buttons to press. You want to be able to do more things, and they should make it weaker, but allow you to use it more, right? That makes for better gameplay, like overall. So yeah, just make it regular flashbang again, and then just don't make it a 12-second cooldown or something like that. Anyways, for his Deadeye, movement speed penalty now scales down over time from 70 to 35. Okay, so I'm guessing that means the longer he's in the zone, the faster he can move. Okay, and damage reduction now scales down over time. So at the beginning, he's much more durable, and then later on, he just loses all that durability. That makes sense. I guess maybe it's to reward people who kind of get into the right position, so they don't have to wait so long to be able to, you know, get what they need, get the shot off, use the ability, and you know, the players who take too long to activate their ability, they would probably just kind of, there'd be more killable, right? It'd be more of a way to punish them. So that makes sense. Next is Mei. For her secondary fire base projectile size reduced from 0.15 to 0.12, and secondary fire damage increased from 75 to 85. I think these are great changes. Brings back some skill into the game, which they've been desperately trying to get rid of for a while. So again, if you can aim, you get rewarded for it, right? It's harder to land your hits, but when you do, it hits harder. So that's good, especially with like the healing and anti-healing in the game. The burst damage characters are doing better than the you know, slowly bringing you down in HP type of characters. Like look at Soldier and McCree if you want the perfect example. So for Reaper, weapon spread reduced from 6.5 to 6, and cast time reduced for his Shadow Step reduced from 1.5 to 1.2. I think the Hellfire shotgun spread decrease is good. I think it's really good for him, mainly because I think they're making him less of a tank buster, especially with how they changed the armor passive, and kind of making him more geared to taking down regular squishy type of characters, because I don't think in a game where you only have one tank that you should have a tank buster character. We can talk about Kiriko, maybe not Kiriko, about what's that butterfly robot girl's name again that I like to play? Echo. Yeah, we can talk about Echo later on, probably in a different video, but I think a tank buster in a where you only have one tank is kind of ridiculous. So I think they're tightening this character up. Now for the Sojourn changes. Secondary fire damage scaling reduced from 30 to 130 damage down to 1 to 100 damage. So they are reducing the damage of her secondary, of what her secondary fire can do, which is kind of her bread and butter. And less damage, you know, I guess that's. I'll have to look more into that. Why would they want to that? Because everybody already has more HP, so they kind of fix the whole you either just live forever or explode problem they used to have. So I'll just keep reading. And then secondary fire projectile no longer requires overclock to pierce enemy players. That's wild. That is crazy. That is a buff. I think that is a buff, especially with how people kind of cluster together. That is a very, very big buff in my opinion. And primary fire shots per second increased from 14 to 16. Honestly, I used to play Sojourn a lot. I think everybody used to play Sojourn a lot, and I kind of stopped playing her that much. But this seems like it'll be good for people who aren't that good with her. I think she's just kind of going to be more consistent at lower levels, because things like this, I don't think. Oh wait, I forgot to read the last one. Energy charge rate increased from 100 to 120 per second. Well, you see, there you go. Right, for her ultimate overclock. Yeah. This is definitely a buff for people who aren't that. I don't even say people who aren't that good, right? Because it's better for the average player, I guess, is something I would say. Yeah, I think this is overall a buff to her. yes, I think it's overall a buff to her for most players. For like 90% of players, this is a buff. For maybe, you know, the top 500 or, you know, GM people, probably a nerf, because they were already charging the hell out of her railgun to begin with, and then, you know, they could get more out of landing the headshots with the higher damage. So definitely a nerf if you're higher level, but definitely 100% a buff if you're just like a regular player. For Symmetra, I don't like talking about Symmetra. It's like the one character every time I say it, it's like, I don't want to talk about you. Base health increased from 100 to 125, so the total health is now 275 from 250, and primary fire charge rate increased to 25%. Fine, I guess. Symmetra is still a character that's kind of really only good on certain maps, and I think that's perfectly fine, because on those maps, she absolutely wrecks people. I guess she'll be a little more viable now, especially with maybe we could see people playing more D.Va, so she might, you know, be coming out of the woodworks a lot more. But yeah, it's like the Beam characters got, because it's her and her and Mei got a slight buff. So, well, no, Mei didn't even get a buff in a way that would really apply to that. But it was still kind of a buff, so we could see more of these Beam type characters. So yeah, I think this is fine, as long as we don't have the Symmetra that's so powerful she's just running around melting everybody, which this might end up being, but we'll see. We'll see. And she has a lot of HP now. She has an incredible amount of HP now. I don't think I like that. Yeah, I don't think I like that, especially because she has her turrets. I don't think she needs extra HP. I don't like that. Now for Illari. Illari is a very powerful character, very powerful. I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful she is. And part of her power is just that people just don't destroy her pylon, and I don't know why. Yeah, I don't. That should always be like the first thing you take down, because that thing heals a lot, and I think it's gonna get a lot worse, because when her outburst damage has been increased from 10 to 25, kind of like what I said about D.Va. I think that's a good thing. I think doing less than like 20 damage is kind of why does it even do damage to begin with? So yeah, that's fine with me. Although it's kind of feeding into more about the support characters are just doing as much damage, if not more damage, than DPS. So, you know, do with that what you will. Next is the healing pylon. Healing per projectile increased from 30 to 40. Why? Why on earth? Why would this be needed? Why? This is not good. This is not. She's already so strong. Pylon healing is now only half as effective when targeting Illari. That's not the problem with Illari. No, I guess fine, right? It heals her less, but like that's not the main issue. She could just run away, right? You can't. It's better because she does like to fight, and you know, dueling her always sucks. Like it really does always suck. But that's like such a minute thing that if you could fix the problem by just affecting the pylon, how would it fix everybody in general? But you know, I don't think that's the problem with Illari. The problem with Illari is that that thing just doesn't die. Like it's always like hidden. People just don't destroy it. It's just automatic value for no reason. Anyways, and then I guess to top it off, max health increased from 100 to 125 for the pylon. So again, why? this was not needed. They buffed an already very powerful character. I think one of the best support characters in the game right now. Well, actually, no, I take that back, because all the support characters are so strong. They're all so strong. I don't even know. Just buffed up already strong character, I guess I should just say. And the last character that's getting changes is Kiriko. Cooldown increased from 7 to 8 seconds for her swift step, and the protection Suzu no longer cleanses hard knockdown stuns. Thank God. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you. Finally. Can we get Reinhardt in the room? Can we get Can I get a Reinhardt? Jeez, thank you. This was one of the most frustrating things as a Reinhardt player. Like, it was just every single time you couldn't play Reinhardt or have an ult unless unless they weren't playing a Kiriko. Like, it was so frustrating so often, and this is very much appreciated. So I think Kiriko's still going to be very powerful, because just her kit just makes her strong. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good step. Now, the last big thing they have in this patch update is for the map update for Colosseo. I'm not going to go into the details of everything they changed, but they really made everything much more connected, and I really do prefer it like this. Especially if I play DPS, like to flank. Having to go around those 2 glass doors, they're like tinted glass windows or whatever. It's kind of a pain sometimes. Like, it's nice when they don't see you coming, but sometimes I just want to jump right into it, but then I have to walk all the way back. Somebody may see me, and then they meet me at the choke, and then it's like, So yeah, I think this is really good. And just that other, like the other part of the map with the that they're connected to, where the health pack is, almost nobody ever plays over there, so it's almost like we're getting a whole segment of the map back to begin with. So that's a good thing. Last thing I really like about it is actually there's 2 actually, yeah, let me go into it too. I like how open the area right in front of spawn is, because now you actually have a place for cover if you're going to be shooting at a distance. Because normally, if they're about to win, you can only like kind of come out and just be there without any protection trying to shoot at them, and then, you know, you just kind of get melted every single time. But now there's some cover, right? You can have your more burly characters go in and try to contest, while you can stand back and kind of shoot from behind cover. So that's really good. And what I like about the ramp part, how it's open now, and there's a health pack over there, is one, it allows for a lot more play. And as a Doomfist character, it doesn't look like anything is protecting anybody from being booped off of the map. So I look forward to that. So yeah, I think that's everything. I'm not going to go into the bugs because that'll be stupid. And yeah, sorry if I don't sound as enthusiastic. I'm just tired as hell. And yeah, I'll tell you guys why sooner or later, but good things are happening. So yeah. Don't forget to, leave a comment in the comment section for the algorithm, or if you don't like my review of this. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And also don't forget, I love you.
Also, everyone, guess what? I wrote a book. It's a high fantasy young adult adventure based off of African mythology called Konfaga, Roots of a Very Old Tree. So if you like your grandiose adventure stories with an overarching mystery to be solved and theorized around, like Dark Souls or One Piece, I think you'll have fun with this one. So yeah, here's an ad for the book. Konfaga, Roots of a Very Old Tree, a high fantasy young adult book with a modern take on African mythology. After a mysterious confrontation with his father at school, Marcus Jobda finds himself in the land of Kara. With a small band of determined adventurers and a robust magic system he must quickly learn, Marcus begins his search for his family, a way home, and simultaneously tries to discover the mystery of the disappearances. From escaping Mamiwara and preventing wars between kingdoms, he'll need every edge his wits can give him to see the next day. However, the more he learns, the less things appear as they seem. But does he really want to go back to his old life? With hundreds of illustrations filled with clues of the history of the world, join Marcus as he attempts to solve this mystery. Konfaga, Roots of a Very Old Tree is available now on Amazon. Link in the description.